Yeah, so my name is Paige Kirby. I am in 10th grade and I go to Anacortes High School.
What's your interest in the environment?
Oh,
Why are you interested in it?
I think I'm interested in the environment because really of the future. I really want my kids and my future kids to be able to experience what I'm experiencing now in the environment, and I really want them to be able to just experience wildlife at its fullest. I mean, I think that we are treated as less than, even though everybody's looking to the future generation to, find these new ideas and answer all of these, world problems, but then they still think that we are, not old enough to understand what we're doing, even though I do think that we all have really great ideas, and I really think that we're looking towards kids at this point, because I feel like older generations have kind of ran out of ideas, so they need to look at the newer generations for help.
Can you just give your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think adults have to take responsibility. Like, I think that there's a lot of hiding behind the fact of oh, we didn't know, or oh, people were telling us that it was gonna be okay, that the things that we did, earlier were not things, and we were just trying to live life. I feel like that is an excuse that is used a lot, as we were just trying to have fun, but then it's in order for older generations to have fun, they also have to consider newer generations. So I think that older generations are definitely making excuses, and I think that adults do need to take responsibility, whether that is just straight out saying, yeah, I contributed to this, or if it's, again, trying to help with all of these things and believing in our future generations.
Well, what's your understanding, and if you could answer this one as
Yeah.
statement, what's your understanding, this is your first question, about where we are now and where we're going in terms of climate?
Yeah, I mean, I think where we are now in terms of climate is we're sort of stuck. We understand we understand that there is a problem, and we understand that we need to be doing something about it, but we're not doing anything about it. I mean, yes, some people are, but not enough people. And I think that we really need to be thinking about what do we need to do from here? What do we do with this problem, and how do we change it? And I think a lot of people are brushing it off and saying, you know what, I'll do it tomorrow, but we really do need to start with today. I mean, at what point do we ask ourselves, oh, I didn't care now, to then not be able to care in the future? We won't be able to, we'll just sort of realize, oh shoot, we've ran out of time because we didn't care. And then I think going into the consequences of I think they'll be detrimental. I mean, I think we've already seen a lot of consequences with, California being, the fires are burning longer, and Antarctica, there's huge ice melt, and that is a really big problem. And again, we're not doing anything about it. And so I think we need to look at these problems and put climate at the top of our lists.
Could you talk about the conversations that, you're a member of the Green Club and stuff, but not just keeping it to a conservation organisation, but just generally amongst yourselves, with your friends, what's the conversation around climate and where we're going?
The conversations I have between my friends in climate is very one-sided. It is very much that I am the weird kid that cares about the environment. A lot of my friends are like, why do you care so much? And, it's not our problem. And I think it absolutely is our problem. I mean, when I was younger, I was the kid who brought, sour cream containers to school because we reused them. And everybody thought that was just the weirdest thing that I did. And I said, but we have to start thinking about this, right? This is a problem. And I think everybody really does think about, well, other people will deal with it. And it's no, we are the people that need to be dealing with it. We are the people who, the older generations are relying on. And so we need to, really think about what we can do, even if it is you know, reusing containers, or, you know, turning the lights off when you know, we leave a room, or turning the water off when we're brushing our teeth. Like, we need to be thinking about little things in order to solve this like big problem.
What do you think the other kids, the 90% or the 95% or whatever, where do they get those attitudes from?
I think they probably get their attitudes from their families, their adults. I think that you know, my mom is a huge influence in the way that I think, and so I think parents really do have a huge impact on the way that their kids think. And I think that the adults in some of my friends' families is like, yeah, we are going to continue to buy things in plastic, or we are going to continue to, you know, go on these exotic trips and go on airplanes and use, you know, again, huge carbon footprint that we are creating. And they, you know, as adults, they are not showing to their kids that it is a problem and showing how they can do. I mean, again, my family is a huge supporter of, you know, trying to lessen our carbon footprint, and so it has a huge influence, and it's why I can be better about my carbon footprint, because they allow that to happen.
I'm just going to switch files. Hold on. It's
hard for me to be excited about the future, because I really do think that at some point it really is going to be like, you know, you look around and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like kind of terrible, the situation that we're living in. And I think I've realized a lot in my life that if people are still getting Instagram followers and can still get 2-day delivery from Amazon, they're okay, they're happy, they don't care about anything else. And so I think that, again, we continue to hide behind the fact that, you know, well, I'm not doing anything, so you shouldn't do anything, and that's perfectly fine, and it's not fine. And so I think it makes me really upset that people are sort of, again, like brushing it behind their back, saying, oh no, it's fine. And then it's like, no, eventually it's gonna catch up to us. But people, if people are happy in the moment, and if people can continue to live their lifestyle, no matter what the planet looks like around them, they are okay with ignoring it. In terms of responsibility, I think that there's definitely two parts of the question. I mean, I think that who has to take responsibility for how our planet is current day, because it's like we really have to look to the older generations and think to ourselves, I mean, you did this, you sort of set us up for failure, and I hate to say that, but you know, it's true. Like, they did not think about what the future is, or they did, but they didn't realize how detrimental it would be. So, you know, to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I think that we need to be holding them accountable. And then I also think the second part of responsibility is now who is going to take care of the planet in the future and current day. And I think, again, kids do. We really do have to come up with these new creative ideas. And I think, I mean, again, we were just talking about Greta Thunberg, and she is a huge influence on, you know, young people and in the environment. And I think that she has definitely been like a huge thing for me, because it's like, oh, this is what I want to do, and this is what I feel passionate about, and she is making that possible all around the world, which is not necessarily something that I can do, but I can definitely aspire to be like her. I think that it's easy. It's really easy for us to continue to ignore the problem, and it's really easy for us to be like, oh no, it's fine, we don't have to worry about it. And it's easy for us to make excuses about what we do. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it is easy. It's really, and it's helpful, and you know, unfortunately it becomes that, you know, CO2 is like a huge thing, and so it's really difficult, because then, you know, you look at this and you're like, oh, but you know, going in a car is so much easier than walking or riding your bike, but a car is a huge emitter of CO2. And so I think that, again, kids just need to, like, we just need to figure out a solution and a way to solve the problem and to help it. And you know, I think electric vehicles are definitely something that's sort of getting us there. I mean, I know it's a whole other thing, but I think that these ideas we need to keep generating, and we need to keep moving forward with them.
Okay, cool. I just want to explain, I'm going to ask you about climate restoration.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I just did it again. I'm sorry. I think that humans don't want to sacrifice anything. They really do want their lives to be exactly the way that they want. I mean, I think during COVID, we really did experience when humans were suffering, the environment was thriving, and then, but now I feel like we're going back into the, animals are suffering and humans are thriving. So like, where do we find that balance again of, both of us thriving and not hurting each other? And so I think that we really do have to figure out a balance, because it's not okay that we are letting animals have to sacrifice all of these things. We as humans need to be able to sacrifice things, and it's going to take a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort, but that doesn't mean that we should not be putting effort in towards the environment just to, again, sacrifice, time, money, energy. But if all of us did a little bit, then it can create huge things instead of some of us doing a lot. I think it should be at the top of our list. I think the climate needs to be our #1 priority, and I completely agree.
I'm sorry, can you start off and put the word restoration at the beginning?
Yes, I can. I think that restoration should be at the top of our list. I think that it is a huge priority, and that we need to act on it right now. And I think the only issue with restoration is it's gonna take a lot of time and money and energy, and I think that people sort of burn out or run out of that energy, and so we need to keep it moving, and we need to convince people that we need to continue it for the long run, so that future generations can see that, we have this wonderful planet. I mean, I think to myself, I am living in the best environment I will ever live in right now, because there is it really does seem like we're going downhill from here. And if restoration doesn't start being at the top of everybody's list, we're gonna see a planet that is gonna start failing, not only in terms of animals, but also in terms of people. We're gonna start running out of resources, and then we're gonna be stuck. I think that movies really do, they take you somewhere else, and they take you to a place where, we can believe that in the future there will be these crazy changes, but at the end of the day, it's still just a movie. And so we really have to be acting on it. I mean, I think that the more that you see environment going into movies, and, this message of we need to continue to help the environment in movies, I think that's really going to help people realize that this is the problem that we need to solve today, and we are running out of time. And, I think that movies are a huge influence on people. I think people love to watch movies and TV, and we are fascinated by what we can create in a movie scene, and then we really just need to look at it and create it in real life.
Cool. Okay, this was great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity.